This is what Marvel fans do when they get distracted. Scroll?
Scroll?
Yes.
Scroll.
Welcome to Behind the Sins, presented by CinemaSins.
Welcome to Behind the Sins, a weekly look at everything going on inside the world of CinemaSins. I'm Aaron Dicer, and I'm joined as always by Jonathan Watkins.
Hello der.
And Danae Hughes.
Thought I'd try something different.
No, yeah. I mean, you broke Danae. She doesn't even have anything to say now.
Hello, nerd. I don't even know what that's about.
By the way, I got to tell because I told. Can I say something really quick though?
No,
this is
just
so
a second.
cool.
We write for CinemaSins TV since we've ever started this universe.
sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say because I told the story on here. I don't remember what episode this was, but we were answering questions, and one of them was where did the hello come from? And I talked about how it's Robert Englund played a character in Ford Fairlane.
Right.
I got to talk earlier this week to Rennie Harlan. Chris and Barrett and I interviewed him for a new movie he's got coming out. Rennie Harlan directed The Adventures of Ford Fairlane.
Fun.
So, and I didn't even think about it until after Chris introduced me on that interview, and I said hello,
yeah.
and then I got to tell Rennie Harlan about it, and that was a pretty big moment.
Like a full circle moment.
Yeah.
The only bigger moment that could happen is if you got to interview Frosty the Snowman. And you're like, I do your happy birthday thing at the end of every podcast with whatever day it is.
So I got to look that up.
What do you
see if we
mean
can get
look
that.
it up?
We'll see if we get that Frosty interview going at some point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is there
Look at
a
his
Frosty
voice.
somewhere out there there's Disney, you've got Pluto walking around. Is there a Frosty equivalent?
I mean, I'm not aware of one. I mean, like Holiday World would seem like the perfect place, but I don't.
Yeah, but
I don't
who
know that
owns
happens.
like those specials? Like, I don't.
I'm just saying,
I have no
if
idea.
that place exists, then on the BTS bucket list is to go there and then do like a little funny thing where Jonathan like slowly runs towards the Frosty and then they hug, you know. It's just like this full circle moment for you.
It is.
10 people would get it.
There's literally
for the 13 of us that are here.
there's literally a Frosty happy birthday outtake in one of the videos from this
I
week,
know.
isn't there?
That's in my
That's
notes.
great. That's great. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Judge
Yeah.
Dredd. Yeah.
Well, let's get into it. Let's kick it off with the SinSide Scoop.
What's he building in there?
Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain.
This is a true story.
We're going to take a look at the videos from the week, the process of sinning them, how we felt about the stuff we are sinning in general. We kick it off with commercial sins. Subway, Megan Rapinoe, or I probably pronounced that incorrectly because is it Rapinoe?
I think that's what Chris said. That's
good.
what the narrator says, right? I think.
Yes,
That's what I've always
and
heard.
Chris does his homework. That's why I'm fairly confident. If I pronounced it like Chris, he really likes to get names right. So, yeah.
Oh yeah, no, he does. He does. That's usually right before we start interviews. That's always his first question. So I just want to make sure, which is always appreciated by the person.
Yeah,
I will say
it's Rainy Harleen, right? Rainy Harleen for this interview. Yeah. So anyway, Subway, Megan Rapinoe. Yeah, kicking soccer balls at people for Subway purposes. That is this entire. That is this entire commercial.
I'm really distracted. No shocker there. I just searched Megan Rapinoe pronunciation. I mean, I didn't spell it correctly at all. I spelled Rapinoe Rabine. Thank you, Google. I was just typing really, really fast.
Rabine. Yeah,
But
Megan Rabine.
I just noticed that there's a, like it has the normal pronunciation section where you can like click the little icon and then you can hear it.
Yeah.
And you can slow it down. But then just below that, it's how to pronounce Megan Rapinoe. And it's like if it's a video. And then when you click on the video, it's her answering that question. And then it goes to a next clip of her answering the next most asked questions on Google about her. Is this a new thing that they're doing where like famous people can answer questions about themselves? Because it's pretty cool looking.
I think they're just.
I've seen some Google stuff in the past where people were doing that.
That's
think Google
really
is just
cool.
I think they're refining their algorithm to find like stuff on YouTube that like because sometimes I'll do a search and it'll just show me the section of the video that has the answer to the question.
Right. But I've just not seen it where it's video. Okay, so I've been doing this thing for the live BTS recording that we do every week now on Fridays at 10 Central. And after the show is over, I stay on for a little while and do like a little post show where I essentially just show all the stuff I've been Googling. That's what I've been doing.
Right.
So I'm going to set this aside and I'll actually show you guys what I'm talking about at the end, those who can stick around. And you can watch those videos later, I'm pretty sure. If you're still if you're on Patreon and you're on that peeper level, I think you can go on and watch them.
Yes, our members have live access to this show video as well as delayed access to the show video. So anyway, you can watch it either way. All right,
but
let's talk about
this. It does appear to be Rapinoe. No, I can't hear it, but watching her, it looks like it's Rapinoe.
Megan Rapinoe is what we're going to go with.
How's the Rapinoe?
So what's your question for this commercial sins? Oh, hold on. Let me take a drink. Let me take a drink. Hold on.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm ready.
How do we feel about Subway sandwiches?
That's so. I thought you were going to do something else. Like, how do we feel about strong females in the world?
That is not the commercial. That's not what the commercial's for.
It's clearly what the commercial's for.
See, for me, the joke of that bit is we watch these commercials and they're so rarely about the thing that they are. So it's like when you actually mention, hey, what do you think about auto insurance? It's like, that has nothing to do with this commercial, but it's for an auto insurance company kind of thing.
I know.
But anyways. Yeah.
How do you feel about Subway, Jonathan?
I mean, they have a really good meatball sub. That's probably like the thing I might go to if I'm eating at Subway. I don't eat at Subway that often.
Me either.
Though, but they do have. I don't know what it is about their meatball sub because I don't really typically like meatball subs at other places. Even better sandwich places like Jersey Mike's, for instance.
It's the cocaine in the marinara sauce.
I think so. I think there's cocaine in the marinara sauce. So yeah. Hey Subway, we'll totally do an advertisement for you about cocaine.
I used to eat Subway all the time because I worked at this call center and within walking distance was a Subway. And so I cycled through sandwiches because I'm the kind of person that finds something I like and then I eat it over and over and over again. And then I don't like it anymore and I have to go to the next thing. So I worked through like 4 or 5 iterations of my favorite Subway sandwich. And then I found Mr. Good Sense. And then everything Subway was horrible after that. Because Mr. Good Sense is a sandwich shop and they have better bread.
We don't have that.
It's just like, it's a deli style, but all their ingredients seem to actually be fresh. Then when I moved to a small town, they had a Subway. And we're like, okay, cool, they've got a Subway. And it was the worst Subway on the face of the fucking planet. And they ruined the meatball sub for me. And they ruined every other sub opportunity for me. And I haven't been back to Subway in 7 years because of that one place.
It's a chain. Like, it's
awful.
It's like comparing like Papa John's to like a local pizzeria, right? I mean, it's definitely, it's a chain. It's got every Subway tastes the same basically. And every location except for the one Danae went to.
It was awful.
My Subway thoughts start with their oatmeal raisin cookie, which I love. If I ever go there, I have to get 3 of them.
I don't like their cookies.
I love their oatmeal raisin cookie. I had the same experience as Danae because Danae was very gracious enough to ruin Subway for me, even knowing it would ruin Subway for me. She was like, hey, have you ever tried Good Sense? And I was like, no. And so we got a Good Sense sub and... I think it's the bread. I've ever since then, every time I eat a Subway sub, and I still do occasionally, I'm like, this bread is stale. It's chewy. It's not great. And they make it fresh every day. So I don't understand. It's not like it's old. Like Subway makes their bread. So
that's weird because I feel like maybe it's just a Subway by me. I feel like I always get white bread. I mean, so I don't know if that's what you guys are getting or if you're trying some of the other different breads, but it's always very soft for me. That's the one thing about Subway.
I thought so too.
I kind of like versus other ones.
I thought so too, and then I had Good Sense.
If you ever come to this neck of the wood,
I'll definitely go to Good Sense.
We'll have to go to that sub shop.
Absolutely.
Because it is different. Somebody said in the chat, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I also don't want to Google it for whatever reason. Subway bread isn't considered bread in some countries.
It seems like a joke.
Well, but there's also that thing like Taco Bell meat isn't considered
Right.
meat in
Pink
some
slime.
places too.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah, maybe it's one of those kinds of things.
Some of the chats mentioning like Firehouse and Jersey Mike,
Sure.
I do agree. I think those are better chains.
Sure.
But yeah, we're Jersey Mike's family mostly. That's typically where we get our sandwiches from.
There you go. What about this video? It really is kicking soccer balls at people for Subway purposes, as the first sin says. I find
these Subway commercials funny for some reason.
Sure.
Like I like this one. They have one going on now during the NBA season with Draymond Green, and I can't remember who the other person is in it now, but those are very funny if you want to look that up. But I think the commercial's funny. I think this is also, I saw somebody in the chat say this is one of their favorite commercial sends. I think it's one of mine too. This was a really, really funny video.
Yeah, this is a funny video for sure. I also liked, I've decided oven roasted turkey subs with banana peppers is the exact polar opposite of whatever burrito you might order when he's comparing it to the burrito. And then he continues by saying, so the next time you take the SAT, kids, if there's a question that says cold is to hot as oven roasted turkey subs with banana peppers are to blank, there's only one right answer. And if the SAT says otherwise, follow the money. Look, I haven't said this is an Atkinson script, but by that sin alone, you might know it.
You have to know.
That's so much fun. So what about you guys?
I loved his screaming, "You are micromanaging my lunch." Just really,
yes, I
really
had that
enjoyed
one
that.
Yeah.
I like to now I'm going to have to get Patrick to cover me for while I'm gone. Do you know how many pee bottles that's going to cost me? Hey, somebody mentioned in the chat, by the way, it's Jason Tatum is the other athlete in the Subway ad I was talking about. It's Jason Tatum and Draymond Green. There's this great bit at the end where they're like, Subway, try our sandwiches. And then it cuts to Draymond and he says, except for Jason's. It's just really funny.
Nice.
Sorry, it has nothing to do with this.
And just because I'm me, I have to shout out the puns. There's a pungency to that pun that makes me want to punish it by punting it into the penitentiary. Punk. Well done.
You like puns?
It's
no,
weird.
not really.
How have I never learned this? This is like, 3 years later.
That's the
really.
beauty of dynamic relationship, Jonathan, is that we can all be around each other so much and still have so much to learn.
Yeah, it's true.
It's a beautiful thing.
I guess I won't get into the subject matter. We were all joking around, but I was saying I accepted Danae anyways, and Danae just responded back, that's because you're a friend. I thought that was hilarious. Our fun Slack chat.
Oh my gosh.
All right, let's move on to TV sins.
Okay, let's do it.
Finally finishing off Falcon and the Winter Soldier. One World, One People. This was a Dicer Hughes script. Danae and I writing on this one.
People.
I gotta say, rewatching this video, I didn't write on this, right? I think this is the two of you, right? Yeah, it's a great video. But I was watching this, I was thinking back to it. I think WandaVision is the better show, but I think I liked this finale better.
Oh, interesting.
Because I don't know, I just feel like this finale felt more complete.
Yeah.
Like it wrapped things up, and it actually gave us some. It didn't just tease us. We got Captain America.
Right.
We got
Right.
We got him as Captain America, and I don't know. And there was some fun. There was some of the better, I think, action scenes outside of maybe that pilot were in this one. And although I do feel like the reveal of I can't remember her name, the girl,
Carly?
the woman. No, not Carly. We find
Samantha?
out the girl that
Sharon.
Sharon. Right? Yeah, Sharon's the one, the actress from Revenge. She was in. She's Peggy's daughter.
I wish
Sharon
I was
Carter.
Peggy's daughter.
So the reveal that she's kind of behind the whole thing, which a lot of people have a theory that she is a Skrull.
Oh, interesting.
Squirrel?
Which could be very possible.
Skrull.
I said that right.
A Skrull,
Yeah,
Danae.
Squirrel.
No, a
For Captain
Skrull.
Marvel.
Squirrel.
This is what
Peggy's niece. Thank you.
This is
not Peggy's
This
daughter.
is what Marvel fans do when they get distracted. Scroll?
Squirrel?
Yes.
That's
Squirrel. So you said that about
They have a dog sock puppet, and they go Skrull.
Scroll?
you said that about the
that
finale. That's interesting because we get Captain America on one, but we get Scarlet Witch on the other. Like a fully realized, coming into her power.
No,
Scarlet Witch,
I don't
too.
disagree. I just feel like there was so much buildup with WandaVision, teased a lot of things, and then that's the story it was trying to tell. It was fine. I'm just saying that
the rest of the show.
this one felt more like it actually answered the questions that were presented.
I think
kind
of.
let me break the tie. Let me break the tie by saying it's actually both. So I'm not breaking the tie at all. I think they're very similar. I think they are about two different characters, but they kind of do the same thing. And in fact, we had a sin about it where these finales, you're really starting to get a sense that it's just like, okay, there's going to be a lot of fighting, a lot of punching, because that's how Marvel knows how to, wrap things up, is with fist fights. And they're going to wink at some revelations. Although, Jonathan, I think you're right. This is a little more than a wink. They are saying, okay, this is Captain America. But they also kind of do that with Scarlet Witch, too, where they're like, oh, this is Scarlet Witch. And then they're punting. They're punting most of the big stuff. Like, what does that mean? How's that going to affect the bigger? Like, they're punting that to the movies.
Well, I don't mind them leaving a little bit open.
Yeah, of course.
I mean,
they have to.
I don't know.
They have to. Yeah.
This just felt more like it tied up the series a little more nicely for me than I think WandaVision did.
Yeah.
WandaVision's a better show. I know Magic's better. Soldiers are stupid.
I think
whatever.
that they can all be, good at the same time and bad at the same time for different reasons. But this
absolutely.
one was perplexing to me because, again, it was rushed. And so it's kind of like going back and watching this video, I just re-experienced my frustration with the show in general and the pacing and all of that. But I still am left with, like, one of the most annoying things to me is, you've got this really important character arc of Sam becoming Captain America. But then you have the old Captain America that is literally like wearing the other Captain America outfit.
You mean the fake Captain America?
Faux.
Yeah,
Captain
Lamerica.
Right. You've got.
Yes.
I like the stuff with John more than you guys did.
Well, you've
100%.
got him. I didn't mind his story at all. I actually enjoy the. I don't know. I liked them both. I'm not saying that there was one that was better than the other. I'm just I like them both, but I didn't understand how. So you've got him kind of just like walking away into the distance, and suddenly no one pays attention to him, which seems absolutely impossible that this person who murdered someone in front of the world and was stripped of their title but is still wearing the costume is just like walks through a media frenzy at the end and then goes and dyes his clothing dark and is like, I look so different now. This is that. I don't know. That was a really frustrating thing. And maybe I'm reading into it too much. It just seemed like it's at the very end, it's kind of like the rush of just fucking get it done. Let's just get it done and get on to the next thing. You know?
No, I think there's definitely some TV show time limit stuff going on there. And that's unfortunately something you're always going to have with a TV show.
Why would you go back? Think about this. Captain America leaves the fight. Then he goes. Thank you. He goes back to the courthouse to change outfits. What? And it's not like a big revelation. It's just, why would you do that? Why would you go back to a courthouse to change clothing? Why wouldn't she meet him someplace else and be like, hey, we've got this new costume?
Applebee's.
Right.
Because they probably filmed all those scenes on the same day and they were at the courthouse.
Dumb.
I mean, that's probably a budget thing too.
Dumb. It's dumb. It was dumb.
But I found the John Walker storyline is the most interesting in this series, and it's also the most frustrating in some ways. I'm a little confused as to what the show is trying to say about it, but I think all they're doing is setting him up for future stuff.
Course.
He's going to be whatever they're going to do,
right.
Thunderbolts, whatever. He's going to be part of that,
right.
and
right.
that's fine. I have no issue with that.
Right.
And there was also a lot of actual horrible cop stuff in the real world going on at the same time. That is not the show's fault, and I don't think the show is doing anything wrong. It's just telling its story. But it was also hard not to kind of have some icky feelings, especially when he just brutally kills that dude. And whether, I don't know. It
just happens so quickly. It's hard to redeem something that quickly. Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, it really is. And But I also don't feel like anybody's given him like the okay at the end of that.
No,
I think he just came in and helped him, and they're letting him help him.
It seems like, quote unquote, whoever they is, are letting everyone just do whatever they want.
You think Sam and Bucky should have? Well, no. I don't think anyone was controlling him. What I'm saying is, I think he just showed up.
Right. But where are the people that are like, nope?
But there's all this other stuff going on. So I mean, I don't know how Sam and Bucky are going to stop.
He stopped to have a phone conversation.
there.
You know, like.
All right,
With
we're getting in the
Carly.
weeds a little bit.
I don't know.
We might as well get.
It
We
was
might as well
just
get into the
a really
sins.
frustrating finale for me.
Yeah.
I do think that one of the things between the two that's interesting is with the end of WandaVision, it was a slower paced. There was more like emotional family drama, relationship ties, and these things are kind of coming. And there's a big fight in the sky and things like this, but like it didn't seem as normal action sequence finale, and this had all of that. It had lots of stuff going on.
I think you're remembering incorrectly. That finale of WandaVision is very
No, you're right.
action forward.
No, you're
It's
right. I'm just
all
thinking
Yeah, I
about
wasn't trying to
and,
say
like
it
it
wasn't.
starts
No,
with
I
the
know,
vision
I know.
fighting, and it like
I
it's-
like-
yeah.
I don't know.
I like
guys.
a lot of things about both shows.
Maybe we just
I
shouldn't
dislike
do
things about
anything
both shows.
anymore. You know.
All right,
My
you heard it here
God.
first. TV Sins is
Well, I think-
canceled.
I think the main thing is that like the thing that doesn't really frustrate me, but I find I heard people saying about this, like I've heard a lot of people say, not a lot of people, but some people say like this show didn't do anything for me. And like I'm confused as to where we got to a point where a show that's just good is not enough. Like
Right.
It's not enough.
that strikes me. That strikes me as odd because like I'm down for a good show because most shows aren't even good.
If it doesn't make me want to buy merch, I'm not interested. Okay. Which is why I'm wearing.
I don't know if you're kidding or being serious right now, but
Well, I'm wearing a Mandalorian shirt, so.
that's true. That's true. But no, seriously, like I just thought it was a good show, but it's like when you say that on social media,
Yeah.
everybody's like, "Oh, you loved it. You want to marry it and get it pregnant." It's like, no, I just had a good time watching it, and
Right.
now I'm moving on to whatever the next thing.
No,
is,
it was
you
it was fun. It was fun while it lasted.
But it had a lot of problems.
It did have a lot of
Ton of
problems. It was
problems.
very cynical,
Yeah.
but it was interesting.
And I think we've discussed a lot of the reasons why it had problems. It was rushed. They had to change stuff at the last
And
second.
now-
I mean, the fact that it's as good as it is impressive.
Yeah, it actually
agree.
really, really is. We should have the people who own it on our show. I know they listen, Disney or whoever.
Jonathan, since you didn't write on this, why don't you get us into the sins? What were some of your favorites?
Sure. I loved the rewinding the footage just so we could get a guess you won't be needing this anymore.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Fuck you, Frank. I'm an artist. I don't even remember what that was about, but I wrote that down.
I think this is the second appearance of Frank.
Yeah.
And Frank appears for me. This is a me thing. Frank appears anytime there's a choice that's made in a show that is completely 100% aesthetic and has nothing to do with the practical nature of anything going on. And Frank is the guy behind the scenes who's like, no, it doesn't matter that it doesn't make any sense. I'm an artist. My art must be displayed. And he just happens to be a dock worker in the Bronx or something. I don't know.
And I love the footage in the show. It says, well, that's one down. And then how did you manage that? And then the narrator just says murder. Not punctuating your text was very funny. And then I don't know if that was Siri or Google Voice or whatever, but that outtake was perfect.
Which
Because that's probably what would happen.
Oh yeah.
Where he's flying and he's trying to get the computer to get the call through to the. And you guys sent that scene, the whole helicopter scene, which was totally on point. But once again, that was a scene for however silly the circumstances were. I thought it was pulled off so well. Like I thought that scene was so exciting.
Yeah, I did too. It was definitely.
I kinda geeked
It was
out.
definitely Siri that I found the audio for that one. Yeah,
That was perfect.
yep. Danae, what about you?
I hated it. Oh, what? Oh, I'm kidding.
You hated the video that you wrote on?
No, I liked getting to send the thermal footprints because it reminded me of Mandalorian. There was that scene when the little salamander person was running through the ice caves in the episode with the spiders, and like Mandalorian's like able to like follow them, and that's bugged me to this day. And so then to see it pop up over here, I was like, oh, there it is again. So that was one that was fun. Saying that we could like avoid something, but we don't want to. Like we could do this, but we just don't want to. I think self-referential humor like that.
Yeah.
It's a way to kind of invite the audience into the fun of our channel being like a character rather than it being, we don't take ourselves too seriously. That's kind of a way for us to do that.
Yep.
And then with Sharon getting shot, and Sam being so much more interested in Carly rather than Sharon. I thought that was a interesting thing to send to.
Yeah, it's like he knew she was a bad guy.
Or that she was going to survive, you know? Like, she was literally shot the same way, and he doesn't even seem to care about her. It's weird how things are written sometimes when you really start to think about it.
I agree. I love that one. I had that one written down. I also had the part where the narrator asked him to tell a secret that only the two of you would know, like the diameter of his left testicle. Thank you, Danae.
You're welcome.
Appreciate that one.
I like how you were doing some like Sharon Bucky fan shipping there.
God, am I obsessed with testicles? We had the mastodon testicle last week, and now there's like the balls.
I think it's just it's just testicle envy. It's a normal thing.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of psychologist books about it.
I do have a lot of questions, so I should probably go talk to someone about that.
Of all the parts of the human male anatomy to be jealous of, the testicle is not one of them.
Maybe she's not jealous. Maybe she just appreciates.
Right,
That's true.
Right.
That's true. That's true.
I don't know why, but maybe
the other one was the cranial jockstrap sin.
Oh my gosh.
And you'll never unsee
weird.
it. That was really great.
Well, yeah, you are correct though. That's an odd.
What a
fitting.
weird decision to just leave the cranium exposed for damage.
Sure. Yeah.
Such a weird choice. I don't know.
It's the same but black. And then the narrator saying, well, now you're just saying the quiet part out loud. I really love that one. And then when the character says, you of all people bought into this BS, and the narrator says the comment section every time I remove a sin somehow makes it into the episode.
That one got some love in the comments.
And then the other one I wanted to mention, because I was so nervous about it, and it got a good response, and I was so happy, was the sin removal that ends with "that's Cap." And the reason I was so nervous about it is because that's not lingo I've ever used. And I always get nervous when there's like slang or something that like isn't authentically part of me, that I'm going to be like the Steve Buscemi gif where he's like, hey, cool kids, because that's slang my kids use. That's Cap is just something they say to mean that's a lie. But it was just too perfect response to be able to be like, that's Cap. And also that's Cap. So yeah, it's honestly one of my favorite sins I've ever written, and it's just because of that, how well it works into both of those scenarios.
It's all the mixed messaging or strangely messaged stuff this show seemed to be giving us. That was easily the message that got through the best.
I agree.
Just with we talked about that last week with the whole thing with Bucky realizing how he was wrong. And then the guy from Alias the former soldier telling Cap about like it's a lose-lose situation if you don't become Captain America, or if you do, and then just Sam saying what he's saying there at the end. It all kind of comes in full circle. I will say it's kind of a weird. They kind of add a weird thing at the end though, where Sam has just set up that whole exhibit. Without asking dude first, like that seemed really weird. Like, cause I thought that guy was kind of in hiding and really didn't want to be associated with any of it. So I don't know, that came off strange. Maybe there's a version of that where it works, but the way it was edited together in this episode, I just thought all that was weird, and you guys send it. So
agreed. All right, let's move on to M.O.D.O.K, or as some people call it, MODOK.
Man, people were having a field day in the comments on that too, and I'm like, good God, man, take a joke.
Oh, I thought there was a lot of positive stuff about it too.
People there was positive, but it was all over the place. But I'm just saying, and then some people started bringing up the GIF thing.
That's how you know it's working.
Yeah, no, there definitely was positive. Somebody said, I think the top comment was like, you guys doing this, or no, it was on. Maybe it was on Patreon.
Yeah.
There was a comment about you guys doing the mispronunciation is like my favorite running gag. Which
there were a few comments.
Great. That's all Aaron.
This show is interesting.
Right? Okay.
I mean,
so,
let's talk about that.
M.O.D.O.K?
Yeah, let's talk about the show.
I have no idea.
We've all just watched the first episode. None of us have watched more than the first episode.
No,
okay.
and I keep hearing that it gets better, but like
really? I haven't heard that. So
I disliked this episode so much, I just don't know that I can continue. Like, that's a weird way to put it. It's not funny. Like, I just didn't find it funny. I didn't laugh.
I found it occasionally humorous, but
It's like
there's so many jokes that don't land.
Yeah.
So many.
It's literally like someone just speed reading a joke book where you don't, there's a story going on there. There's a storyline going on there, but I don't know. It's so much. It's too much.
No, you're right. And there's a reason. I think it's this one. I hope I'm not spoiling a joke from a future one, but I think it's this one where I talk about that's kind of what we do too, but hopefully our percentage is a little higher than the show. But I phrase it in a way to make fun of ourselves because like that is the style of humor we do. Just joke, and hope to hit 80, 70 to 80% of them.
Well, it's not just jokes. It's like sometimes we do point out things that are wrong, but it's in a clever way.
Sure.
So it's sometimes just creative writing or like genuinely breaking something down and trying to figure out how to think about it. This just seemed like witty dialogue, nonstop witty dialogue. If there was someone in your life that everything that they ever said was said like anybody in the show, it would be very difficult to find depth with that person. And I'm not saying we need to have depth in this show, but then to like throw in the whole divorce thing at the end, it's like, oh, we forgot to actually work on emotional stuff. Shit, let's just end with a divorce. It's just weird. It's weird. The pacing of it is a little off.
I didn't enjoy it.
It's kind of like a mixed drink where it's too much alcohol, and then at the very end, it's like they remember to put in like a soda or something to kind of balance it out. And so you end on something that seems like a storyline that you could get, and then you're just drunk on confusion. I don't drink a lot. That was not a great reference, and I recognize that now. But
no, I know what you're saying, though. I know exactly what you're saying. And also, I will say, I mean, a strength of it is that it's a really good voice cast, right?
Sure.
I mean, it's Patton Oswalt and what's Ben?
Beck Bennett.
Oh, Beck Bennett, yeah. But then the guy who plays his kid is son.
Ben Schwartz.
Ben Schwartz, and Melissa Fumero, I believe, from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, plays his wife. I mean, it's a really nice voice cast. And so I think, if you're fans of them, I think there are things in here you might find funny because they are definitely raising the material as much as they can.
It's funny. There are funny things in it, but it's almost if you have a meal that's just all sugar, it's hard to appreciate the good dessert. And so if it's just joke after joke after joke without, it's almost like I would laugh and then I'm processing the next witty thing so quickly, and it's such a fast paced show. It feels
like, very much
watch
like,
it 0.75 speed maybe or something. Just give me a second to absorb the very first episode, the very first introduction to this universe. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I assume the ongoing storyline is going to be, he sold his company and it's him trying to still be M.O.D.O.K while having to work for somebody else, and then also the family matters and stuff. I mean, it's an interesting idea. The first episode does not set it up in a way that I find all that interesting, and it feels very Robot Chicken-esque, which makes sense because they're the people behind it. But like, you almost kind of wonder what the Robot Chicken sketches though were very quick, so they get away with this more, right?
Well, that's what I'm thinking. There is a good version of this. The Lord and Miller stuff is a good version of this. Lord and Miller, sense of humor is very joke, but it works because they also understand character development a little. At least in my opinion, there's more character development. You love the characters more. You're interested in what's going to happen. And the joke is like, oh, you can hit 60. They're also hitting a higher percentage. I think you can hit 60 to 70% of those jokes, and it still feels really, really fun. So yeah, there is a good way to do this. I just don't know that this is it.
This felt closer to something like Family Guy for me.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. This was Jonathan and I writing on this one. This was Dicer Watkins. So Danae, you get to start us off with some of the sins you enjoyed.
Before I do that, I have to say one more thing, and it's going to sound negative because it is. I really don't like that it was shaky cam the whole time.
Yeah, it's an interesting choice.
You are not alone.
That's a weird choice.
Somebody commented about that. They said
it's like this fast-paced wit and humor and these fast-paced cuts from thing to thing, and the camera is moving constantly. It's like it's just so much. I wanted to enjoy this because I like unique animation styles and different ways of absorbing media, and it doesn't all have to be like a dramatic Marvel Universe thing, this can kind of be that fun little wink and nod. So, but that one, I have to get that off my chest before going on. Okay.
You didn't soil your pantaloons?
I did not. That was one of the ones I liked. Change your pantaloons, Marvel nerds. You hath soiled them. That's okay. I don't care. I have a thanks, I hated it note on my very first one that I'll mention, which is, of course, the vaginal womb wrecking sin. Like, thanks.
Yes, I mentioned the perineum.
Thanks.
In fact.
I hated it. I hated that one. The what's your damage sin was a delight, and the comments about that were also fun to read.
Like, you can make fun of that when you bring it back.
Yeah, so good. And then the sin that I haven't seen the rest of the series, but I feel very comfortable calling this premature celebration. I just thought it was really clever. And the confidence there. But yeah, it was a fun one to watch. Great job.
I like the narrator sinning the Goldfinger reference by saying, if this show includes a scene with M.O.D.O.K's nude body on a bed painted in gold, I'm taking all the sins back. Or adding them. I'll make up my mind once I see. I just love that the narrator was curious to see first before he knew whether he would add or not. Let's see. I loved the based on the box office. I'm pretty sure Spiral has the monopoly on saw sucking. That made me laugh. And then I had to mention the Stevensons at the end, just sitting there staring at the bottom of the wall.
Oh my God!
Blink twice if you can hear me.
In the comment section, there were theories about the Stevensons in the comments, so I took one of those.
Oh, nice. Good, because I didn't see those, and I was wondering if anybody jumped in on that, because that was just to see what they were doing. They were like,
yeah, they're both just staring like at the bottom, just like what are you like? What is wrong with these people? Love that.
Yeah, I had that written down too.
And I just have to give a shout out to the many people in the comments who loved the Portal outtake as much as I did, singing the Cake song from the Portal, because when that happens in the show, it's so very much like the computer in Portal, and so it just made me think of that song. So shout out to my fellow Portal nerds.
Yeah, I was gonna say I did not get that reference at all. But
oh, you should. If nothing, did you ever play Portal? Did you ever play Portal?
Oh, here we go.
It's a fun game. It's a great game. But
I've had this chat before.
Even if you've never played Portal, go listen to that song. It's hilarious. It's one
by
of the
Cake?
No. It's not by Cake. It's about Cake.
Oh yeah.
It's about Cake. So sort of. But the idea is that it's the AI is singing to humans about, hey, it's all gonna be okay if you survive. Like it's you know. So it's really, really funny. So I'd highly recommend that song. Yeah.
Very cool.
Let's see. So Danae, I think we need to do we need to do Jonathan's. Jonathan, what did you think?
On M.O.D.O.K? Yeah, you guys had most of my stuff. I will say, Danae, in the comments, that somebody did actually ask us or told us that we missed sending the shaky cam. So that I just didn't even think about it. But once somebody said it, I'm like, oh God, that was shaky cam
the whole time.
Yeah,
all of it.
I had a lot of the ones you guys mentioned. M.O.D.O.K would kill it at Serial Sins.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just liked the Disney, also Disney. Like every time there was and it never actually said Disney, right?
No,
it was like Hulu and Marvel.
Yeah, it was Marvel and then Hulu.
I also enjoyed Knocking Boots. I thought that was when he said he was going to sleep with Iron Man's boot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This was a really fun one. I really enjoyed this one. There's a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, it wasn't hard to
job.
send.
Excellent work.
All right, let's move on to music video sins. DJ Khaled, I did it.
DJ Khaled.
Sorry. I did it, guys, I did it. DJ Khaled is apparently potty trained now, and he's running to his parents. I did it. Is that not what this song's about? I thought that's what this song was about.
I don't know what this song's about, honestly.
It's not about anything.
I made money.
Yes. Yeah, pretty much that's
Which
it.
we had that recently. Barrett sent that one, the Jay-Z and DJ Khaled, right? Wasn't DJ Khaled part of that one too? And that was all just about how they had millions. And this kind of felt like,
Yeah.
Even though at the beginning he's trying to say that he can't afford the director.
Right, yeah. What did Barrett have to say about this one?
Oh boy, here we go.
I read this.
This is part of what I do. Okay, as I mentioned in the video itself, I didn't even want to do the video. It's the same thing over and over with this guy. But the more I watched it, the more I was compelled to do it, which rarely happens. I will never know how this dude keeps getting top talent like Megan Thee Stallion and DaBaby to work with him, but I guess he's got something they like. Anyway, my favorite part about this video was Megan's butt. Speaking of butts, heavy metal is such... Oh, wait. We're waiting on that.
I'm not positive. I mean, Megan looks beautiful in this video, and yeah, that might be the most exciting thing about it.
The end.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to say about it. Let's talk about the sins, which were hilarious. The I'm no expert, but I'm 99% sure this horse just got pregnant. I think I actually chuckled out loud at that one. And
would you wear? Hey, but did they answer the question? Would it be comfortable to ride a horse in a thong?
Technically, after you wear a thong for a certain amount of hours, you just go numb. So probably it'd be fine.
There you go.
See, so
that's
Barrett's
not
wrong.
an official answer.
That is.
I actually, in my mind, I'm like, have I ridden a horse with a thong on? And I think the answer is yes, actually. And I'm fine.
But you had pants on too, though.
No.
Oh,
It was a
okay,
very
okay.
specific type of equestrian training.
It was the Megan Thee Stallion Equestrian School.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. A Megan
yes.
Thee Stallion equestrian school of thonging things.
Thonging things. All right. I also really like the Princess Bride outtake in this one. Made me laugh a lot.
was hilarious.
A lot. What about you, Danae?
Oh, I didn't watch it.
Okay, Jonathan.
Oh my god. Assuming a director of a project is also the editor, I thought was really funny.
Yeah.
Which is probably even actually true, because I don't know, man. I hope DJ Khaled's not. I don't know. I don't want to say anymore. I don't have high opinions of the man. That's all I'll say. I don't care how much you eyeball fuck me, Kay. I'm never going to believe that statement.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the statement was, we make the best music, I believe was the statement. And fixing the sin counter. Did you mention that, Aaron, and I missed it?
No, I didn't. I didn't mention that part. No.
You should check it out, Danae, because I think this part of it you'll really like. But there's this whole thing where the sin counter breaks after he says the "I'm DJ Khaled" thing, and then you start hearing like the narrator's like, "I'm going to go repair it," and you hear like tinkering and stuff, and then you hear like a car engine revving up and like all this stuff, and then finally it fixes. And
Man, it sounds like I should have watched it.
And the editors do a really good job with it and everything. It's kind of one of those things. It was a lot of fun.
I'll watch it.
Yeah. And then I have to mention she could use some work on the form and follow through, but I'm confident she could still get a roster spot on this year's Cardinals team. So I would also like you to have Justin watch it, because I think that was very funny.
Let's move on to CinemaSins. We will start with heavy metal. This was an Atkinson share script.
Yeah.
Chris and Barrett writing on this one.
It's your one-way ticket to midnight. Call it heavy metal.
Continue, Danae.
By Sammy Hagar.
Continue with your thoughts on heavy metal.
So another moment in reviewing history for me. This has happened multiple times. So I guess if anyone's making a list, this will go on that list where I'm watching the video and I'm like paying attention and I'm figuring it out, I think. And then I all sense of time and space is gone. I don't know what the fuck is happening. I don't know what I'm watching. I'm confused. And then the end of the video comes and I'm like, well, that was 17 minutes of my life and I don't know what's going on. And I didn't make any notes because I'm just blank stare at my screen.
Hey, the 80s were weird, man.
I mean, drugs were involved heavily. And I didn't realize that it was like these little vignette. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So suddenly I'm looking at like cleft jaw Chin Man and I'm thinking, how is this related to what we just saw? And I can't figure that out. And I think that the tie to it all is the evil gumball. But
Yep.
It was just hard to understand.
The evil gumball. Yes, that is definitely the
what it looked
type.
It's for sure a sour gumball. For sure. Like if you put that thing in your mouth, it's for sure just that explosion where your tongue starts to just secrete juices in a painful way, or like not whatever is under your is what's under your tongue part of your tongue? You know, like
I don't know.
Are you talking about the saliva glands?
Yeah, is that
Uvula?
part of your
Is
tongue?
that the uvula?
No, the uvula's in the back, like way back.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
okay,
the little
that's
hangy.
right. That's
it's the
right.
little hangy ball down thing. But like,
Right.
you know how
the
like
bottom
you
of the
lift
tongue.
up your tongue, and then
Yeah.
and that's where you just have those things. And when you have something sour, it just starts launching saliva out in a painful way to counteract the darkness that you have just put into your mouth. The evil sourness.
Mm-hmm.
Is that part of your tongue? Is my question.
It is a separate gland attached to the tongue, I believe.
So it's not part of the tongue.
I don't believe. I mean, it
It's
depends
tongue
on how you define the
adjacent,
tongue.
but not tongue.
I think it's part of the tongue. It's just not the muscular part of the tongue.
Someone
It's
says
just like saying-
frenulum. Is that what it
Oh,
is?
the frenulum.
The frenulum.
Sure.
The frenulum.
Why not?
I
Why
don't
not?
know.
Somewhere between college and now, I watched heavy metal. And
Wow. That shot. Okay.
Okay.
Well,
No one's judging you.
I'm sure I did it for the same reasons that many members of the male species have watched it. It was like, oh, a cartoon with nudity in it. You know,
Well,
that
you're
sounds
an
interesting.
animation fan. This is a different.
I am. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm just a Pixar fan who got confused and picked up heavy metal. I remember thinking then just how terrible. It's just a terrible excuse to draw naked women. That's what it seemed like to me. Was just like there were some people that wanted to draw, you know, didn't think there was enough nudity in animation and wanted to make a movie. I'm really curious, Jonathan, your kind of view, you know, like your experience with this movie.
I think I saw like I remember when it was out. I was very young when it came out because it was like 81, so I was like 5 years old. So I obviously didn't see it then, but it would be like on cable and stuff, and I would catch bits and pieces of it. I think I had a roommate in college who was a big fan of it, but I never watched it like all the way through. So I watched it yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Before I watched the video, and no, it's not good.
It's
I
terrible.
like the music, which oddly enough is not heavy metal music. That's interesting to me that there's like no heavy metal in the entire movie, which is fine. But I mean, it's like barely even hard rock. It's like Journey and Sammy Hagar, which I just sang a little bit of. So I like the music. I like the animation, kind of like it's just different. So that's fun. It's kind of like I actually thought Ralph Bakshi did this movie for the longest time. He did not, but it kind of reminds me of his stuff. I think it was I believe, if I remember correctly, there was a heavy metal magazine at the time, and that's where this kind of stemmed from. But I could be wrong about that. But it doesn't matter. It's just, it's boobs and it like sex with robots. I got to tell you, like, I don't really want to see animated sex, but like, if we're gonna show animated sex, I want to know how the hell she had sex with that John Candy robot.
It was the wrench. Didn't you see the wrench? That's how you do it.
Suddenly,
He
I'm
did
having
pull a wrench
flashbacks to Ted. Like
It was
how
kind of
did
like that, though.
Like, what is it? And then you turn,
It
and
wasn't
he's
even like
holding like a
it wasn't even
cucumber
like
or whatever.
it wasn't even like a humanoid robot. It was like a short circuit, like Johnny Five or something. Like Johnny Five, like boning somebody. Like it was just what? I guess it was the wrench, though. You're right.
Yeah, it has to be the wrench. It's always the wrench. I think there is what, Danae? Danae, did you have something you wanted to say?
Nope. I'm just gonna let that roll.
You're
We're
welcome.
just gonna move on. Just gonna-
I do feel like with this movie, if you research it, you see like how like there are stories of they couldn't finish certain sections, so they like just went to like local colleges, animation programs, and just like had the students like finish sections of this movie. Like it was just one of those things where they just had to get this thing for whatever reason, out there. I feel like the better version of this is Love, Death, and Robots on Netflix, which is willing to explore all these different avenues of animation. It's an anthology of, vignettes. I've talked about it on the show before, I think. And it's also more adult and more willing to go into adult places. But it also is like more experimental and cooler and does it for a reason. It's just, I don't know. That's the version of this that I think could be cool to like experiment with animation and different things that animation can do. But this was not that. This was just, this was, like you said, lots of drugs and, a very male mindset of what they wanted to see animated.
I mean, this movie has like diehard fans and stuff. I mean, it's got a fan base, and I think it goes beyond the fact that there's nude animated women. But it definitely didn't hit me in any way that was interesting.
What do you know? What like a fan of this, aside from the sexuality and the nudity, would say that they love about it? Like, if you've heard people that love this for more than that, like, what is it?
I mean, I would guess, like, just the music, the maybe the animation, just the aesthetic of it, just I don't know. I mean, I honestly don't know. No, I haven't had like an in-depth conversation with anyone.
All right,
because I haven't really seen the movie until yesterday.
Yeah,
I don't either, but I mean, that's a lot of movies, right? I mean,
yeah,
I'm sure there's people that love Woman in the Window. I don't know.
Yeah. Imagine that. Imagine a human that could watch that movie.
Like, I mean, but I know what you're saying, because some of it I could at least like there's like I see a lot more people now talking about how they love Batman and Robin, and what you find out is if you look more into that, those were people that were kids or they were younger
Nostalgia.
when Batman and Robin came out. That was their Batman. So on and so forth,
I mean, people are looking for different things too, I mean, it happens.
But I have a hard time. I mean, I guess there probably were kids that watched heavy metal, but I don't know that that's really a nostalgic thing. So I don't know what it is.
Let's see. Did Chris or Barrett have stuff to say about this one? Let's hear what they had to say.
Yeah, they did. I'll just continue with Barrett's butt rant. Speaking of butts, heavy metal is such an adolescent fantasy of a kid drawing boobs and butts in the spare pages of his Trapper Keeper. I
mean, boobs are just butts with nipples. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Okay, continue.
I had to think about that for a second. Mostly, yeah. Especially for
one
drawing.
One is south and two are north.
For those playing bingo, that's an outtake reference,
yes,
most
that's
likely.
Jonathan mentions the outtakes. Mark it on your bingo card.
There's a loose thread about this evil being called the Lochnar that's presumably present in all of the vignettes, but none of them make sense. If someone were to ask you what movies were like in 1981, this is the movie you should show that person. I know, I agree with that.
No, I don't at all.
Don't ever show a person this movie.
Drugs, sex, boobs, and butts. Not to say that I don't like the movie, though. Chris says, heavy metal is a teenage boy's ultimate fantasy, saving women with large breasts who will have sex with them on the spot. It's an anthology movie telling various stories about a green jewel called the Lochnar and all the havoc it creates everywhere it goes. Only some of the stories don't really involve the Lochnar at all, and the last story he tells somehow ends in his death across space and time. This movie is the all-time test to, quote, can I pleasure myself to a cartoon? The answer, of course, is yes. I mean, no. It's amazing this movie was ever made. It came out in 1981 and, of course, is a hard R-rated movie, but it's clearly made for 13 to 15-year-olds. Mm-hmm. I think my favorite thing to pick up on was the first story set in New York. The Lochnar tells stories about how it corrupts people, but instead of telling the story from the woman's perspective, it tells it from the cab drivers, even though the woman is the one who possesses the Lochnar. Also, these stories of sex and violence are being told to a 13-year-old girl the whole time. It's super fun stuff to watch when you're not old enough to watch it.
There you go. Let's get into the video itself. Today we're going to start with you.
Okay.
What were some of your sins?
I'm just kidding. Okay, again, please remember, I was watching it and then I lost my fucking brain. So I only have one thing to talk about, even though there's a lot that you guys could talk about. I have two. One was the I am the sum of all evil, Jeff Bezos. I thought that was funny. But then also the sin about the sandwich just being present on the table. I don't know why that cracked me up so much. But something about it's ready to get mayonnaised was funny to me. And so I enjoyed that. Mm-hmm.
The Jeff Bezos one, if you've watched Bo Burnham's recent special Inside, he has this song that he does every once in a while where it's the funniest thing to me. The whole song is just like, Jeffrey Bezos. And then he's like encouraging him. He's like, you did it. Like, it's like the richest man in the world. And
it's like the DJ Khaled video.
Yeah, exactly. It's like Jeffrey Bezos. Anyways, watch that special, by the way. Jonathan, what do you got?
I like the seriously no hi dad or even a welcoming peck on the cheek. I guess I should say the sin is always as kids. I 100% felt that one as a parent.
Yes, I have felt that as well.
Yeah, walking in. What'd you get me? It's like the first question.
Yeah.
Like, makes you feel great.
Yeah. I got to work on that. I do that. I mean, when Justin came home yesterday, I hadn't seen him like most of the day. And I was like, did you bring food? And he's like, it's good to see you too, babe. I gotta work on that.
I've never hookered before, but this price seems both too high and too low for me, depending on the interpretation of the
It's a
act.
great sin.
I
It's
did
a
enjoy
great
that
sin.
20. And then one thing, they made a joke about John Candy voicing the Adonis, and I'm like, why can't John Candy voice the
That's
Adonis?
right. What is that about?
I mean, I guess I get it because he played more like, nerdier characters and stuff.
Well, and I will say, that joke is not about John Candy's appearance.
No, it's not.
It's about
not
his
at all.
voice. His
Yes.
voice is very comedic in that way. So, yeah, just to clarify.
Yeah, voice and the types of characters he played.
Right. Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But it was just kind of funny to me. The dialogue in the movie is come, and then the narrator immediately says, "Dude, I think she was about to." And then Den's story is like a sadder and hornier version of Big was the other one.
There were a lot of great comparisons.
Yeah.
I think my favorite of those, was that your final one?
Well, that's it. Yeah.
Okay. My favorite of the comparisons was this movie made from a series of penthouse letters written by George R.R. Martin? I just think that is so perfect for this movie. Let's see. What else did I have? It's important that Hollywood sit down and have a good conversation about how to exaggerate the number of Jaws sequels. I thought was very, very funny. I loved the observation that they, for whatever reason, when they kill the woman with the heat ray, they just take a few seconds to show her naked body there again for a second,
Yeah.
even though they didn't do that earlier with the man. I wonder why that is.
I have no idea. I'm kidding.
Yeah. Can you explain it to us? We're confused. I'm glad you brought up that sin because that was the one that I earmarked as, what does this mean? I don't understand.
I don't understand.
1981, boobs are okay, penis not okay.
Well, there's penis in this movie as well.
That's true.
So, movie asks the question, do you want to see animated boobs and butts and casual animated penisery? And answers, yeah, we do. We've got naked George Jetson posters at our house, too. I was just like, what is that? And then the sin about movie seriously tries to pass off a government official being concerned about his constituents, and just the laughter made me very laugh. I also like the back-to-back Simpsons outtakes. I thought those were
always good.
Whoa, that's a good squishy, and the goggles, they do nothing. It's great stuff.
Chris's Simpson knowledge, which I'm sure, Aaron, you've got a lot of Simpson knowledge too, but Chris just pulls those lines out and knows the episode, and I'm just like, I don't know how you do that.
He has a Rolodex brain. I don't have a Rolodex brain for that stuff. Like my brain is more of like it's all in there and then it just comes out and I'm like, oh, where did that come from? But like obviously
God,
Chris
that's
is very
so
aware.
much better than mine. Mine is like going to Google with like blue side with the turkey cheese. Oh, it's that movie. Like it's so dumb.
Yeah.
My brain is dumb.
Let's move on to Judge Dredd. This was a Scott Watkins script. Jeremy and Jonathan working on this one. Johnamy. You guys have great combos. Johnamy Scottkins is a great name.
Johnamy
and we
Scottkins.
Did, which is probably why we did this one, but we did the Dredd, when we covered the Dredd film, the more recent Dredd film. That was also me and Jeremy. So,
Danae, I'm assuming you have no familiarity with this movie.
What are we talking about? I don't know.
The original Judge Dredd movie.
Just kidding. So I do remember, I don't know how, but I do remember the shoulder pieces somewhere in my mind.
Oh, in the recesses of your brain.
Somewhere in my mind. I'm like, those
Versace.
look familiar to me, but I don't remember anything else about it. Cheese, shoulder. So
I loved finding out that Versace did costume design in this movie, though, because
and you can tell
and apparently,
it's so good.
Yeah, they did. Versace has done it for other movies too. I didn't realize that at the time, but I still just thought it was, Stallone reached out to Versace as well. So I don't know.
Yeah. I don't think I've seen this movie, but maybe it was on somewhere because I had the thing where I'm like, I've had these thoughts before. I have thought about the ridiculous size of whatever's happening on these shoulders before. So that's all I remember though.
Yeah, I had some variations on Sens about those shoulder pads.
It's a lot.
They were pretty, or shoulder ornaments
It's
or whatever.
predominant.
They were pretty nutty.
Yeah.
No, you should watch the movie. I think you'd love it. So you should check it out.
Jonathan, are you bullshitting me right now?
I am definitely bullshitting you.
What did Jeremy have to say about it?
He said, Judge Dredd is like a dog that you house train, but then 2 weeks later, he started shitting on the kitchen floor again, not because he forgot his training, but because he just quit caring.
Hey, we talked about this. This is potty training.
And so you dragged his ass by the collar over to the floor shit and stuck his nose in it and then yelled, no.
Jeremy's not a dog person, if you can't tell.
And then yelled, no, over and over, not realizing you were only confirming to him. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Confirming to him that he had just successfully trolled you. So you move forward thinking you've taught the dog a lesson, but then it just shits on the floor again in a few days because the actual lesson it learned was if you do X, you can get the human to do Y. And the dog really enjoys when the human does Y. So the cycle repeats itself a few times until the human realizes new methods are needed. And instead of shoving the dog's face into the feces, the human just leaves the feces on the floor. Hoping that it will somehow soon become as much of a nuisance to the dog as it is to the human. Of course, the dog doesn't care and even takes naps next to the poop and even starts a little collection pile of poops the human seems to like because the human keeps them instead of discarding them. So the human, at wit's end, gives the dog to the shelter, saying it cannot be house trained. But the dog quickly escapes the facility and then begins a ninja assault on the previous owner's land and home, surreptitiously, leaving poops in obvious places every other night or so, until finally the human paints himself in all red, screams something carnal, and then burns down the entire property before running away naked. And the dog turns to the neighbors and says, "You need a dog?" And the neighbor is all, "You speak English?" That is Judge Dredd in a nutshell. If you don't know, now you know.
They're like paid, like critics got paid to write reviews of this movie that didn't think that much through it.
I have to tell you, Jeremy does not realize how much he has made for Letterboxd. I kind of want to create a Jeremy Letterboxd account and then just cut and paste his behind the scenes reviews as reviews on that account. I may do that this week. He would just own that site.
That sounded like a really good segment for the heavy metal movie.
That's right. Yeah.
Except there'd be someone with boobs.
There is actually a segment of Love, Death, and Robots that deals with cleaning up dog feces. So,
wow.
So there you go.
I'm never watching that. Thanks for letting me know.
You're welcome. Some people in the chat are saying I'd pay to follow a Jeremy Letterboxd account. So I will make that happen. I will take your money and I will create it for you. Yeah, this movie is all the crazy. What a week for crazy movies.
Have you seen it before?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I had taken the time for this one. Yeah.
I saw it in the theater in '95, and then I've never watched it again. And I mean, it's just like it's not good. There's nothing good about it, but I don't know. It didn't offend me the way it offended Jeremy. It's really one of those movies where it's just a mess. And if you look into the making of it and stuff, which of course I did, the script, it was a crazy ordeal. Like, Stallone, like a lot of the movies around this time, Stallone really put his fingers in there and was trying to change stuff. I mean, there's this whole thing about, I guess I can talk about this more in Keeping Tabs, but there's this whole thing about where Stallone thought it was an action comedy, and the director was trying to make more something along the lines of like Verhoeven, like RoboCop or something. And then at one point, Stallone took it over and tried to make it a PG-13 cut, but he couldn't trim it down enough. And it kept getting an NC-17 rating. And so they had to trim a lot just to get an R. And then Stallone went in trying to get it to a PG-13. They couldn't get it to a PG-13, but they still let that stuff cut out. So it's an absolute mess. Like, just, you can tell too many people had their fingers in it, but and it's not good. It's just not good. It's not good. I don't know what else to say about it. It's just bad. But it's not like offensively bad. It's just bad. It's just not a good movie.
Yeah.
Can I just say something really quickly? I mean, I feel like maybe I should understand what this movie is about after reading Jeremy's review, but I'm still confused.
So you basically, I don't know how much we talked about this when we talked about the more recent Dredd movie, which is more just a straight up like action film. This is an action film, but it deals a lot, like as we point out in the Sins, there's like, meetings and stuff like that going on.
That was the rage was one of my favorite parts. That was so fun.
Jeremy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Jeremy did not like the meetings that people were having in this movie. No, but it's just the way society has become. We're like in this, it's like a police state, and there's these judges, and they can like sentence you immediately. You don't have to you don't get a trial. You just get sentenced, on site. And there's like different types of judges. And so like the chief judges or whatever have their own little council. And one of them has gone bad, right. I guess, wants to change things. And so, so it's just like one of those like political upheaval, like political overthrow plot, sci-fi. Yeah, it's a lot of things. None of them are good, but it's a lot of things. It's a Rob Schneider comedy at times.
Yeah, that was unexpected. I'm like, wait, what's going on?
Well, he's a Demolition Man, but he has a much smaller role, and I feel like Stallone was just like, hey, we worked really well together in that one scene.
Probably.
Let's do a whole movie together.
That's how it happens.
I can kick us off with the Sins, but saying something isn't as bad as Attack of the Clones is not a compliment. Loved that. The guy in the movie says, "Judge this, lawgiver man," and then the sin is just terrible insults. Let's see. Everyone in this movie is above this movie. Rob Schneider is above this movie, and he made Animal. Really enjoyed that. Just the casual nature of, this is Super Mario Brothers. Really made me laugh.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah, Jeremy wrote that. That was so funny.
Let's see. This is reckless wreckage reeking of feckless peck age seeking checkless heck age. Loved that just for the fun of it, even though I'm not sure any of it makes sense. Let's see. A CGI terminal and a scan quad? Who could possibly have the resources for both these totally real equipments? Loved that. The MacGruber shout out with Magruder.
I was so happy he agreed to do that. Yeah, because she just says Magruder, and it was just like, Magruder.
The torrent sin where I can't even download a torrent in 8.
I mean, good.
I don't. Hey, what's a torrent? I don't know. You know what?
What?
That is one of those, like, Danae makes jokes about she'll work with one of the A-team and then just be like, I'm going to quit. That was one where Jeremy, when I was reading the Combine and I saw that sin that Jeremy wrote, and I'm like, I'm unworthy to be involved.
It's hard. It's difficult.
I'm over here like writing like Magruder and like jokes about the band New Order that nobody gets, and
Danae, what are some of the ones that you pulled out?
I really enjoyed the college girlfriend joke. I just recommend. It's in the first part of the.
It's very similar to the torrent joke.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those like self-realization things.
Yeah, narrator denying what he's already said. Yeah,
right. Thought I should quit immediately when I read that.
And then, of course, I did the adding 350 sins, and then the super anger. This movie sucks balls. Adding 2,000 sins. Moments like that, they just sing to me.
Just like picture Jeremy was watching this movie, just slamming his hands on the desk,
you can
and like
hear
throwing stuff.
You can feel it. There are some narration deliveries where I don't even have to know that Jeremy wrote on it to know that Jeremy had to watched it. Because of how he delivers some of the sins. And this was one where I was watching it and didn't realize that he wrote on it. And as he was delivering the sheer just anger, I just knew he actually had to watch. I mean, he watches everything. We have to watch everything, guys. 100% all the way through multiple times. Just letting you know. And the happy birthday outtake. I loved it.
There you go.
Because it reminded me of our show. Perfect. And it was like, aw, happy birthday. Yay.
Jonathan, what else did you want to mention?
Well, the new order joke. I guess I'll mention that. That was the you'll have your new order, and then the narrator says, "Awesome. Hope it happens on a Blue Monday." I was glad I got the Blue Monday reference in there. And speaking of Jeremy's deliveries, I like that everything is happening very quickly right now. I just thought that was really funny. More Star Wars. Maybe it's not pandering. Maybe it's just taking. Mm-hmm. And then I loved honestly, the spandex isn't so bad from this angle because it's Stallone.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not wrong. I mean, he's not wrong. Stallone made the spandex work, which is hard, which is not easy to do. But I guess most people probably think we're talking about like
experience. I'm assuming.
I know for certain spandex does not look good on me. Yes,
that's awesome.
I'm aware of how I look in spandex.
90s, I thought that was workout gear, and I never wore it again.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
But yeah, no, I just thought that was a great thing. Oh, and then the Cure wrote a song for this movie that just shocked the hell out of me when that Cure song started.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, maybe that's an older song. And then I come to find out, no, they wrote a song for this movie. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So that's where my what the fuck Robert Smith, that was an actual reaction I had while watching. That's my wife's favorite band of all time. I even texted her. I was like, did you remember the Cure wrote a song for Judge Dredd? She's like, yeah, kind of.
Jonathan, you mentioned you wore spandex. I just want to remind you the email address pixar@didn'thappen at cinemasins.com does actually exist.
Just thinking that.
I don't have these pictures. This kills me every time on like Twitter or something where it's like, show a picture of you at 10. Who has pictures of them at 10 on their phone? Like that's
I do.
Yeah, but
I'm just narcissistic enough to have all that stuff on my phone.
No, you spent the time to actually like go through family photos and stuff and get them all scanned and then upload them to the cloud. Not everybody does that.
Yeah, that's true. All right, let's move on to keeping tabs.
The internet is a communications tool used the world over where people can come together to bitch about movies and share pornography with one another.
Ha ha! Oh, jeez.
This is the most public yet of my many humiliations.
Let's see who wants to go first. I think Jonathan does. Jonathan, go for it. What do you got?
I'm sorry, what are we on? Keeping tabs?
Keeping tabs.
No, I Judge Dredd. The one thing because I couldn't remember exactly what it was. But in this movie, in this version of Judge Dredd, Stallone removes his helmet. All the judges remove their helmets. They're not supposed to do that because nobody's supposed to know who they are, right?
It's like the Mandalorian.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah. And so that's that's kind of like the big thing. I remember when the movie came out, people that were Judge Dredd fans, which I never read the comic, so I don't know much about it, but people that were into Judge Dredd were pissed off that Stallone was taking the helmet off. I remembered in my mind that it was something Stallone wanted to do. Like he was like, I'm not doing this if people can't see my beautiful face, my chiseled jawline and my blue eyes. But I couldn't find anything. That backed that up. So it's also there's also a plot line involving the fact that they're clones and that's why they have the same eyes as Max von Sydow. It's him and the bad guy, which is Armand Desante. And so I thought maybe that was the reason too. I don't know. So I couldn't find that. But I did want to have a sin in there because I felt like we needed to have something referencing that because at the time at least that was a big deal. So then I put the sin in about I don't know why they did this, but that's like the biggest character trait of this character. So like, that's like the one thing, like if you're going to do an adaptation, why wouldn't you leave that as is? But they didn't. So we send that. It was interesting though. We got a lot of comments along the lines of, or not a lot, but some along the lines of, well, you guys say the books don't matter. I think this is very different than that because this isn't just like they left out a scene or something. This is like something that kind of defines the character. But also, if we had not send that, then we just would have had a bunch of comments like, "How do you not send the fact that he took his helmet off?" It's like you can't win. But
no. Well, they can't win either, and that's the thing. Like if
guys,
you
this
look
isn't
at those,
about winning. This is about watching something.
So if you go to anytime somebody says something like, "I thought you said the books don't matter," the very first comment that is going to be on that is usually "except when they do." And because that's it's because whichever gets us to, none of it matters. So whatever gets us to the best joke or the best observation, that's where we are not doing math here.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, that was just one of those. That was one thing about the movie that I remembered so well. Like that was such a thing that people had a problem with. That like I just didn't know how we had to mention it.
Sure,
in
some way. Of course.
I couldn't back up my memories of like it was Stallone, because I would have definitely just sent him being like vain or something, but I couldn't find that where he said that. But anyways, and then like I said, there was some stuff. Just the background of this movie being made is pretty interesting. Like I think like the shoot and everything was fine. Like I don't think people weren't getting along, but it was just a lot of tinkering behind the scenes. The ratings board was coming down on them and stuff like that. So that shows a lot of the mess. Like they cut a scene that shows how the building, like they don't even show the explosion that happens. It's just all of a sudden the building's on fire. We send that too. And it's just like stuff like that. It's just so weird. The stuff they cut out, it doesn't make a lot of sense. And it's not like the movie's not gory. That's the other thing. It's like I don't know what they cut that got them away from an NC-17, because there is some violent stuff in this movie.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
Especially for just like a summer, blockbuster or whatever. But anyhow, that was what research I did.
I will go next, and very quickly just say, in the M.O.D.O.K video, we have the Gabby Douglas instead of Simone Biles sin. Researching Simone Biles is fascinating because she just won nationals, I think, which is not a surprise. And then
my daughter is a huge fan.
So if you are the kind of person that likes watching the great, the GOATs, like when they exist, like when Michael Jordan was playing basketball or when Tiger Woods was golfing or whatever, Simone Biles is at that level. She is gymnastics GOAT. And like, it's the things she's doing. I highly recommend Danae, even if you want to, for our members later, do some Simone Biles videos. That is definitely something you could do because they are incredible. They are insane what she does.
Simone Biles is to her activities as Danae is to radio, is what they say.
Holy abs of steel. Sorry.
You found a picture of Simone? Is that why you're going abs of steel?
Oh, no. I was just looking at this picture of myself from earlier today.
Okay. But it is true. She has 4 different moves that are literally named after her because she's the only one that can do them.
Interesting. Also, she has 4 separate lines dividing her abs.
And she is 24.
Yeah. So anyhow.
Some people are just designed by like heaven.
No, she's insane.
I've seen her on social media before, people like sharing videos and stuff. So we'll watch some fun stuff.
So anyways, I did that research for that, and wanted to mention that. Today, what do you got?
Oh, well, right now I'm looking at Simone. What am I supposed to be doing?
You're supposed to be telling us about something that your process
you were keeping
of sin
tabs
writing.
on.
You were keeping tabs.
You had a tab open, didn't you? Want to tell us about it?
I'll tabulate my tables. I didn't have a lot of research for Falcon that I remember doing. I didn't usually I'll make a note if it's terribly interesting, and I didn't do that. So I just went through and I did, I had a sin that was cut. There's this moment when Bucky rides forward on his motorcycle and then kind of like launches himself forward over a barrier into the bad guys to kind of kick off this fight scene or whatever. And my sin was, don't you just love it when your killer instincts tell you to stand there and wait for your enemy to spear you to the ground at motorcycle speed? And I just thought that was well written, and I'm still bitter that it was cut. So
it is. It's great. I'm glad you have this. I'm glad you have this opportunity to
have this moment to.
It's funny. Every now and then I'll have a sin that Danae writes that I'll be combining, and we'll have I'll be like, I'm trying to understand this or whatever, and she'll always say, you can cut it, but I'm going to talk about it on BTS.
I do.
So then
I warn him. And then you know what I do is I forget about it. You can cut it if you want to, but I need a place to rage. No, actually, I just had to look through it before the show started to remember if I had anything. It is a good point though. It's a reminder that we always have to cut fun stuff from our.
No, we do.
We have a lot of stuff that just never makes it to the end. Hey, maybe we should do our show about what didn't make it instead of what did make it. Good talk.
All right, let's move on to the comment section.
I want to know what you're thinking.
I appreciate your honesty. You're a real straight shooter.
You are the ones who are the ball lickers.
What's something from any kind of comments you found this week that you guys want to talk about? Could be from the videos themselves, Discord, which, by the way, since I mentioned Discord, we have just a link you can go to now. We are verified on Discord, so discord.gg/CinemaSins if you want to join our Discord.
Yep.
Discord.gg/CinemaSins. Lots of fun stuff going on there.
And please don't point out to Jeremy that we were given official status before his Twitter. Just wanted to. They're different platforms entirely. Okay.
Yeah, it's a totally different thing.
There's no reason.
That's cool, but it's really nice, right? It makes it easier for people to join, right?
Oh yeah, it's just you just type it in, and you don't have to wait for a link because usually on Discord you have to wait for a link, and now you can just type it in and find it. So.
Yep, absolutely.
Nice.
Yep.
Today, why don't you go first? What is your comment section?
I saw a comment on the video for, let's see. Oh, wait, where'd it go? The Three Amigos reference in the outtakes.
Yeah.
For, I think that was Winter Soldier, right? Yeah.
That was Winter Soldier, yeah, because it was very much the, look up here. Look. The bird call. Yeah.
God, I love Three Amigos.
Brandon asks, was that a Three Amigos reference in the audio outtakes? You're really pandering to the three of us who get that reference.
There's more of us than three,
there are more
yes.
of you. But yes, you're correct. That is where that was from. And I thought that was a fun comment.
Hey, you too. Look up.
That movie has so many great lines. I'm going to fill you with so much lead, you're going to be using your dick for a pencil. It's one of my favorites. Oh, my
goodness. That movie, man.
What is a plethora?
And then I also just wanted to point out that Karen said, OMFG, your voice is utterly hilarious and befitting for this narration. Keep it going, mate.
I missed that one. Thank you.
Followed immediately by someone who said that. No, kidding.
No, I'm sure it was. I'm 100% sure it was.
Guy.
There was a little bit in the, because it was the M.O.D.O.K video, right, where I said something about, me every time I look in the comment section or something, being numb to it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And so I remember somebody in the comments was like, I feel like Aaron might need a hug.
Yeah,
like,
maybe.
I'm okay. I'm just being.
Yeah, you did that slightly sad act. You're like,
some people don't like my voice.
Jonathan, what about you?
Well, I actually went back and watched an older video. You guys might not remember this, but Candyman. There was.
What's funny is nobody has any idea what you're talking about. I mean, somebody might.
Oh, that's right.
Somebody might.
That's right. Oh, that's right.
That episode is not out for 3 weeks.
It's like
a new record for you. That's like a new record for you, Jonathan.
We don't have a category for that yet.
Yeah, there's no category on the bingo card for what you just did.
Oh my God, that's amazing. We recorded that so long ago.
And it's still 3 weeks away from airing.
Oh my God.
Hey.
Oh shit, that's good stuff.
I'm so glad I did that now. I'm even more happy with myself. All right, no, for M.O.D.O.K, there was... I found somebody had a theory, Fuzzy Stripe Tail, who I feel like we've used Fuzzy Stripe Tail before. That sounds very familiar. They had a theory about the Stevenson family.
Oh, yeah. Tell us.
And they said, just like that prematurely celebrating jet pilot, I'm sorry, I still got that.
No, you're good. You're good.
Just like that prematurely celebrating jet pilot, the Stevensons winning. I can't. 3 weeks away.
God. Oh my God. Look at Aaron. He's going to spin his street count.
Oh, all right, I got it. All right.
Fuzzy Stripe Tail had a theory about the Stevenson family in the M.O.D.O.K video. Just like that prematurely celebrating jet pilot, the Stevensons went against the grain by lamenting over the fact that the cereal that restaurant served them only had 6 grains instead of the 7 grains that M.O.D.O.K insisted was too many grains for one cereal.
It's so good.
I love it.
So funny. Man, that must be the funniest comment we've ever read on the comment section, because we're all dying for completely because reasons completely related to the comment you just read. Oh, that's amazing. All right. I guess that brings us to my comment, which is from the Candyman video.
I mean, we have to keep. You got to watch that weekly. It's so good. It's hard to stay away from it. It is. We've also we can't say that word again. We've said it twice. We're not saying it again.
That's right. That's true. No, mine comes from the heavy metal video. Actually, before I get to that, I do have another one I want to mention because we didn't mention the murder dirter sin after we referenced it at the beginning. And Danae was saying she didn't understand that reference.
It was in M.O.D.O.K and Judge Dredd, I believe. There was a
murder dirter in Judge Dredd as well.
Yeah, I believe it was Judge Dredd.
I didn't remember seeing that one. But yeah, that's an SNL sketch making fun of or parodying Mayor of Easttown in their accents.
The Pennsylvania accents.
So
that's supposed to be murdered. Your daughter was murdered, right?
Daughter.
So it says they murdered my dirter.
Yeah, gotcha. My dirter's been murdered. I do have a question for you, Jonathan. From this comment, though, the murder dirter reference was awesome, especially since Beck Bennett is in the show. Were you thinking of that when you wrote it? Was that because I hadn't even put that together?
No,
but that's kind of fun.
I think I thought about it later, but because. Did I write? I guess I did write that. You changed it up, I think, but I guess I did put the murder dirter in there. But no, I thought about it after the fact, but no, at the time I wasn't thinking about Beck Bennett.
Very nice.
I knew he was in the show, so maybe it was a subconscious thing.
Yeah, it's just a nice little observation from Bryson in the comments. But the one I wanted to talk about comes from Mofine Bovine, great username, Mofine Bovine. This was in response to somebody who was asking about the big wrench and how you might use that and why he needed that. And Mofine Bovine says, well, because he's got big nuts.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Well done. Very well played.
Good job.
Very well played. Let's move into Beyond the Sins.
To infinity and beyond.
Somewhere beyond my wild history.
To boldly go where no man has gone before.
Let's chat about something else from the pop culture world we've seen recently. Jonathan, why don't you start?
Oh yeah, sure. So I feel like every week we mention get something else somebody has to subscribe to. So I'm going to be talking about a show on Epix.
Nice.
Which I will say, Epix has a deal with Amazon or somebody, so this could pop up somewhere else at some point. But right now, all I know about is it's on Epix. But it's a show. It ended a week or two ago, but I got finished with it this week. But it's a true crime doc called Fall River. Have you heard about this?
No.
Okay, so this is from Blumhouse. It's not their first show, but it might be their first true crime, but I'm not positive about that. They did do like a Purge series, and there's been some other stuff, but I don't know if they've done true crime stuff. But anyways, this is called Fall River. It's only 4 episodes, and it is about Fall River. I think it's Massachusetts, right? Yeah, Fall River, Massachusetts, which is actually the home of Lizzie Borden, or where Lizzie Borden was when all that went down. I didn't know that. Found that out. But this takes place in 1979, 1980. There was 3 women were murdered. 2 women were murdered in 1979. Police discovered they were connected. And then I think in early 1980, they had a supposed witness. The police drove her back home after they talked to her, and she was found dead like a few hours later. So somebody had gotten to her after they dropped her off. And so this is the true crime doc about this. And what happened was they discovered that there was potentially a satanic cult operating in the town. And that there was this one guy that kind of kept getting pointed out. His name is Carl Drew, I think is right. And anyways, so he gets kind of pointed out in this, and then he eventually gets arrested, and he gets sentenced to life. He's still in prison. So this was, a lot of people cite this as the start of the Satanic Panic, which was through the 80s and into the 90s.
Yeah.
And, which eventually got to the point where there were actually like musicians were having to go before courts and say that they didn't worship the devil. I mean, it's just like when you think back on it, it's just so interesting. But
I lived it, man. I lived right in the middle of it.
Yeah. It's just so strange. But there were like any kind of legend that comes across, there were actual things that happened, and these murders were part of that. And, but what's interesting is that, so James Buddy Day is the guy behind this, and he's done a lot of these true crime series. Recently he did, I haven't seen it, but he did one called Florida Man Murders that I think has gotten some notoriety, but he does a really, really good job with this. I go back and forth with true crime docs, and there's so many now too, it's hard to get even really interested in watching one, but I'd heard good stuff about this, and like I said, the Satanic Panic stuff just really interests me, so I thought that was kind of interesting. So I checked it out, but he just found some inconsistencies in some of the things involving the guy they arrested, Mr. Drew, that they arrested. And so he just started doing some investigation into it, and he discovered through that, I mean, I won't give too much away, but he discovered through that Carl Drew was a pimp, and there were other criminals in the area that were fighting over territory. So it kind of became this thing where, is this something where he got pointed out because there was a turf war and somebody wanted him off the streets, whether he did it or not? Is he involved in it, but not as involved as they think he is? Or are there other people out there that should have been arrested as well? And so it's just stuff like that. So, was he even really in a satanic cult, which I believe he's always said he wasn't. And just stuff like that might not be right. I forget that part because I'm trying to remember right now. But anyways, but he, that's also brought up as a possibility. But anyways, no, it's really well done. I will say one of the problems I had with it, which is funny because I think when I talked about that true crime series Sasquatch on Hulu, I was talking about what I loved about it was was only 3 episodes, and so many of these true crime docs go on too long. Yeah. This is one I think could have probably used another episode.
Oh, interesting.
But part of that is because as he was in the middle of finishing it, as he was in the middle of making it and about to get to like that 3rd or 4th episode, the COVID shutdown happens. And so he can't get to the prisons and interview people he needs to interview. And so the 4th episode feels like something that he kind of had to just put it together with stuff he already had. I don't think he got to complete it the way he wanted to. So I'm maybe down the road, because this is getting a little bit of word of mouth. So maybe down the road, we'll get another episode or something, just kind of wrapping things up, because it looks like he was on to some stuff.
Interesting.
But like anything that's like a 30-year-old case, I mean, we're probably never going to know. But it's kind of one of those things you're like, does this guy deserve to be, does this guy deserve to be in prison? I mean, he probably did something, but did he do that? It kind of brings to mind Mind of a Murderer. Is that what was called? Is that right?
The one on Netflix?
Yeah. What was that called? The Mind?
No, it wasn't Mind. It was, it wasn't M-word though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Something of making of a murderer.
So it kind of feels like that. Maybe like there's some false, like there's some stuff that's not right here. I don't know. I just found the whole thing interesting. Obviously with the Satanic Panic stuff, that's interesting, but then just the stuff that actually came about 30 years later from investigating and stuff. Or I guess it's 40 now, right? Is that right? 79? Yeah, 41 years later. So yeah, it's pretty interesting, but it's on Epix. It's called Fall River.
Nice. I'm going to go with a TV show that just came back on History Channel. I think the only TV show I watch on the History Channel. It's called Alone. And if you like survival shows, this is the most intense, most incredible survival show on television. The conceit is that they drop off a certain number of people. I think this season started with 16. Some seasons are 20, some seasons are 12. And they have a choice of a certain number of survival items that they get to take with them. Mm-hmm. But then it's just last person standing. And they are alone. There's nobody with them. The producers are within radio range where they can come do health checks, emergency checks, that kind of thing. It is so crazy how intense this show gets. And I absolutely love it, watching people, trying to figure out how they're going to eat, how they're going to build shelter. If the actual survival part, like if you watch Survivor and you're like, yeah, this like gameplay stuff is fun, but they don't really actually, aren't really survivalists, watch Alone. That's the show you want, because it is pretty incredible. So it's just, whoever can stay out there alone the longest wins. And the way that develops is pretty amazing, season after season.
Do you think you would do well on any of these shows because you're so
this
into
show? This show, no, not a chance.
I'd
am
lose
not a
immediately.
survivalist. The more game show type stuff, I might, Survivor, I might do okay on, but that's not really a survival show.
Or like Amazing Race or something.
Yeah. I could probably make 30 days. The only reason I say that is because literally, as long as you can find water, you can make 30 days. You could literally not eat anything for 30 days and survive. So I could maybe do Naked and Afraid
too, man. You come off that island like, look at me, woo.
So yeah, I could maybe do Naked and Afraid, but definitely not.
No.
So for sure,
No.
I wouldn't be able to do Naked and Afraid either.
I wouldn't
be able to do any of it.
No.
Maybe Amazing Race, but even that, no.
No, that requires racing.
I mean, they're in cars and stuff a lot too. I mean,
Sure.
That would be the most interesting to me, but I'm not sure I would do well.
I don't think I would enjoy it.
And I don't know
all.
who I would do it with, because I think my wife would kill me. And
right, yeah, that's the thing.
I think Barrett and I would just not anymore. Actually, maybe Barrett and I could do it because we don't really drink anymore. So maybe because that wouldn't be just stop. I was just joking around. We'd stop off at the pubs.
I'm trying to think of what reality TV show I would try.
Like competition based?
Yeah.
Like The Voice?
No.
Okay.
I would flop hard on that.
You think so?
Oh my God. I would do Masked Singer before I would do The Voice.
Oh, all right.
Because okay, so one of the things that I'm considering doing is picking up my guitar and practicing on stream on Twitch. Mm-hmm. And I am so terrified of it. And I don't know, it's just, it's intimidating to sing in front of people. But I'm thinking, what if I just do black screen? Then it's easier because I'm not being watched. Having been on stage, I understand that that's weird. But almost like when I used to sing, it was almost like an experiment to just push myself. And I don't know. I get Sia. I get like the whole just I'm gonna just do my thing and you can't see me, I can't see you. I get that. I feel that in my soul. So
nice. Danae, what do you got for your
Oh right, what we're talking about. I'm gonna talk about a game real quick because I'm on a game kick again. This one's called Mastermind. My parents used to play this with me when I was a kid.
I was
going to
say that sounds super familiar. It was the board game.
I had definitely had this board game.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yes.
So you you can do the app version if you'd like to.
Nice.
The idea is that you're playing against the computer in this case, and there are 4 different colors, and they're quote unquote hidden from you. So you've got blue, red, orange, and green. And there's a secret code. And let's say that the secret code is that all 4 of the peg holes are filled with all red peg colors. You have so many turns to figure out what the secret code is, essentially. I think there's 8 turns. Yeah, there's 8 turns. So it's a game of a process of elimination where you present what you think the code could be. Let's say that you start off by using all green. Well, that means that you got none right and none in the right spot. So it's just you keep putting out these different color combinations until you pick the right color combination. And it's a little brain teaser and it's simple. It's another game that I recommended to my friend who was just looking for something casual to do. There's no timer. There's no pressure. It's just kind of like a little mental game that you can figure out. I would recommend the tutorial if you've never played a game like this before, because it does require a little bit of wait, what are we doing here? Because each of the 8 rounds, you are told if you have any colors correct and in the right spot, and that's presented to you in a way that you kind of have to be able to understand. I love this game with my family. We played this all the time. We did a lot of process of elimination games as a family, and I think that they're really fun for critical thinking in general.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm going to do today is Mastermind. Again, I use Android, so I'm not sure if it's available on the Apple devices, but I'm sure there's one there's got to be one out there.
Danae, I downloaded and played Here after your recommendation last week. I loved it.
Okay.
Loved it. With one caveat.
Oh, no.
If you know anything about how I play puzzle games, I do not use hints. I refuse.
Right.
Possible spoilers for the game here. One of the levels depends on you using hints. You cannot solve the level without using a hint. It's interesting. It's clever. But I was on that level for 2 days before I was just like, I have no idea what's going on here. Just tell me. And I am so against hints that I Googled how to solve the level before I hit, the hint. And the Google was like, have you tried using a hint? I was like, what? And I was so mad at that one level. Other than that, I love the game. Absolutely love it. But it's like, that's how I play puzzle games. I hate using hints.
Games like that because there was literally one level where I put my phone on the table and just spun it around as fast as I could to see if that solved it. You're like, okay, what do I got to do? I'm holding my phone upside down and shaking it. Like, is this going to work?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it, except for that one thing. I'm glad
except for that one thing. And Jonathan, do you remember that level?
I don't think I got to that level yet.
Oh. Okay.
And Jonathan, there was comments in the chat earlier about taking your recommendation and really enjoying it from last week as well. Tom says, I started listening to the podcast Jonathan recommended last week, and I'm loving it. Absolutely fantastic. So.
Sorry, I had to think about it for a second. Yeah, American Hysteria. Oh, I'm very happy. That's awesome. Yeah, it's great. I'm almost out of episodes. Kind of upset about that.
Mm-hmm.
So there
Thankfully,
you go.
It's still going.
Mastermind on the Play Store, Alone on the History Channel, and Fall River on Epix for the Beyond the Sins this week. That's going to do it for Behind the Sins this week. Don't forget to make sure you're subscribed and go ahead and leave a comment or rating as well. If you've got anything you want to send us, you can mail it to us, P.O. Box 881, Republic, Missouri 65738. If you want to hang out with us on Twitter, I'm at Aaron Dicer. She is at Danae Says.
Twitch and Twitter, DeneeSays.
And he is at Sam Loomis 13. So for Jonathan Watkins, Danae Hughes, and Evil Gumball, and myself, we will see you next week.
Happy Apple Strudel Day!
Thanks for listening. Send any feedback to bts@cinemasins.com. And be sure to subscribe, rate, and comment. Find more ways to connect by visiting cinemasins.com/BTS.
I have that with a couple celebrities. I went through stages where multiple people would say the same person I looked like. There was a stage where people, like everybody was just, this was like college. People were just like, you look like John Larroquette. You look like John Larroquette. You look like John Larroquette.
Like when he was younger? Yeah. Like when you guys were about the same?
Yeah, like when he was my age.
He's quite a bit older than us, right?
Yes, yeah. Like when he was my age in Night Court or whatever, when I was in college, people are just like, you look like that guy from Night Court. You look like that guy from Night. Like that was.
I can see that.
Happened all the time. And then for a stage shortly after college, it was Travolta. And it was just like multiple people. You look like John Travolta. And I was like, I never saw any of it, but I think we rarely do because, we see ourselves as such individuals. But
I mean, no, I think the Larroquette thing, though, I think it's the eyes.
Could be. I don't know.
I can kind of see it. Even now, like, I mean, you don't look straight up like him. It's kind of like my daughter. Like, she doesn't look like my mom, but she also really looks like my mom because she has her eyes. So it's really weird. It's like like the rest of her face is Meredith.
Yeah.
And then her eyes are my mom.
Well, that is the weird part of it. Like, I don't tell people that John Larroquette's my dad, but that's once people find that out, it starts to make a little more sense.
Holy shit. Let's do this fucking show.
I think the game should be for our listeners. I think they need to identify who each of us most sounds like and looks like for celebrities. Let us know.
What have you gotten in the past, Danae? Like who you look like, who you sound like?
Yep, Donald Duck. Yeah, I think that every time you open your mouth.
I meant your everyday voice.
That is her everyday voice. That's what people don't know.
Yeah,
she puts on a human voice during the podcast.
It requires a lot of focus and energy to put this voice on every single day, even though I actually am a duck.
I will say, Danae, she doesn't look like her. They look very different, but you remind me of Kristen Bell. Just like the way you act.
Thank you so much. Oh my God, thank you.
Yeah, you probably do get a lot of the quirky girl comparisons.
I get the quirky girl comparisons, yes.
Yeah.
Which I, of course, am super okay with. Visually, I get Drew Barrymore and Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, okay.
I pick up a little Angelina Jolie vibe.
I have gotten Angelina Jolie. However, saying that makes me very uncomfortable. All three of those makes me very uncomfortable. So let's go with She-Ra, Princess of Power. So I'm playing with all people that are like, there's one that's in Ireland, and then there's 2 other, I hope I'm getting this right, Irishmen that are living in the UK, but they have like the Irish accents. And then there's this amazing woman named Tara, and she's like in the UK as well. But they're all kind of like in different places and around, and they're trying to figure out when they're going to be able to get together. So it's just this like symphonic cacophony of accents. And then there's me, and I'm like in fucking heaven. They could just talk as normal, and I'd be so happy because they're really, really, they're just a fun group, and they're all friends. And so I just kind of like get to pop in their world and listen to them get excited about stuff and then pop out. It's really fun. I love it.
Yeah, that's cool. I wish we had cool accents like that in the States.
We don't.
I know. Like, we talked to, Chris and Barrett and I talked to Rennie Harlan earlier this week, and he's Scandinavian, I believe. I don't know. He's somewhere in that area. But he just, God, it's just like, you just sound amazing,
right?
Man. Like, why can't I sound like you?
Don't sell yourself short. There are people who like the American accent. They're very few
You're
are
wrong.
they? Few are they? But yes, there are a few. We all have the most milquetoast American accent, kind of that newspeak accent. I've got a little bit of North in me that pops out every once in a while.
I have South in me that pops out.
I think Danae's got a little bit of South that pops out every once in a while.
My stomach pops out. It's
no, that's not the South. That's not the South I was talking about.
That's a post-pregnancy thing, I believe.
That's better than
the belly button just explodes.
It's better than your North popping out.
Right. Well, that's what I was going to say. It sounded a little bit like, wait, what do we got popping out here? If anything, let's just put this.
Now, if my South pops out, that's a whole different story.
Here's the thing: if my Norths pop out, let me know quickly.
Wait,
if your South pops out, we just. Look, we're on video now. We're on video. We have to be helping each other out.
How did direction become plural all of a sudden?
I have
all of a
two
sudden
norths.
The metaphor. One's north and one's northwest.
I have a pair.
You've got north by northwest. That's what you've got.
I'm talking about my tits, guys.
Oh, got it. Sorry, I got confused.
Technically, since having a child, they are sort of in the middle to southern hemisphere now.
They're Midwest.
They're just like, you're talking about them being in the South and the Southeast. I'm like, yeah, they are.
My boobs are Midwest now.
Oh shit!
They're Chicago.
Today. Oh my gosh!
They're Illinois and Ohio.
That is amazing.
Yeah, they're sort of just in this general direction. I would just go Florida and Texas just to be on the safe side. That's directionally. Yeah,
I gotcha.
Yeah.
No.
One thing I wanted to tell you I learned while talking to my new UK crew is that they call mail post. I just wanted to let you know that.
Yes.
Nice.
Okay. It seems to make more sense.
One I've never heard.
When you think about
trash rubbish.
You go to the post office for mail in the US, but you go to the post office for post there, which makes sense. I was really confused about when someone said they were going to go to the post, like they had to go pick up their post. I was like, I don't know what that means. Turns out it's
doing a fence project?
That's what I thought.
I'm watching the telly. I'm watching the telly right now.
And why are you putting your post in your boot? That makes no sense either.
It's very confusing. And when you're done with your post, why does it go post rubbish?
Mm-hmm.
Rubbish.
Is boot? Yeah. Boot is trunk, right?
There's also something about pants, and that's pants, and that still confused. I actually made a little chart for myself, but I have since misplaced it. This morning I woke up and I had 35 messages in our D&D chat to catch up on because they've been awake for a long time. And I sent them a picture of what the weather is going to be today, and I turned it into Celsius. And I felt like I was being a good friend for doing that.
Oh, that was very kind of you.
Very nice. So when you told me last night you were busy catching up on emails, you meant D&D, not work.
I remembered that yesterday to tell my husband for the first time. That went well. He really loves how much I work. It's his favorite thing.
Well, that's my wife doesn't care, so I don't know what's better.
Where do you want me to send that code to, Danae? You just want me to tell it to you verbally?
Sure. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
It is 331-269.
Thank you very much. Appreciate.
It is so hard not to start. I do this. My wife finally broke me of this because she about killed me, but it's really hard for me not to be an ass and just start spouting off numbers when somebody's trying to like calculate something.
It's funny, isn't it? How we have those built-in trolley things from childhood when we weren't as mature or whatever.
Yeah. I fixed it.
I think you're in.
I fixed it.
Yes, I agree, Aaron. And I think my wife threatened my life enough times to where I quit doing it.
Yeah. You know what it was for mine that just carried on forever, and I still fight the urge to do it? I do this thing where my wife will have something she needs me to be sure of, right? And so she will remind me day after day, it's coming up. Here's like, you need to know this. And then the day will come and I'll be like, you never told me about this. Just like, that's one of those things I do just to kind of like troll her
my God,
or whatever.
Murder.
Yeah. So
murder.
There is something about us that loves to get reactions out of the people we love. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
no matter what kind of reaction it is. Like there's something like you just like, there is something about playfully making somebody you love angry that is interesting.
We're mischievous scamps today.
Yeah.
We're mischievous scamps.
Yeah.
That was a low-key reference.
That was a low-key reference. Yes, it was.
Yeah.
This is someone jump roping.
Oh, of course it is. Of course that's a jump rope. Yes, of course it is.
Oh, wait. I actually do see that now. Mm-hmm. She colored the sky behind the jump rope.
She did.
Mm-hmm.
That's beautiful.
And for being 4, that's pretty good, yo.
I just my daughter just had a dance recital, and she does ballet, jazz, tap, and hip hop. So she had 4 dances.
Whoa.
No.
Did you just swallow a green mushroom? Because boy, you sure did one up.
Holy shit!
That's not. I didn't mean to sound that way.
My 4-year-old drew a red blob and a line that appears to be something jump roping, and Jonathan's like, "My child is a ballet dancer." I'm getting teary-eyed with Iris for her just using the potty. So, like, good.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet.
Job.
I bet that's a relief tear. That's just.
She's regressed. She's having conversations with us, like legitimate chats and negotiation tactics to just go in a diaper because it's more convenient for her to do so. But I can stay here and go potty, and I don't want to go all the way over there. And I'm like, you know what? I get it. I super get it.
Just tell her she needs to start paying for her diapers then.
I think we're going with you're getting too big for them now. Like, they're not going to fit you for much longer.
They don't make it. They don't make them anymore. They quit making diapers. Sorry.
Yeah. This is where you start lying to your children. It happens to us all at some point or another.
Yeah.
We had to set up a new board over at Danae's house, and like I didn't even put shoes on. Like I just go over to Danae's house like barefoot and just like.
Okay, I would not do that, Danae. I would wear shoes to your house.
Thanks for respecting my space more than Aaron does.
You're welcome.
I'm sorry.
I'm just picturing like Aaron comes to my house, I open the door, he's just barefoot.
He is.
It'll happen.
Barefoot, no underwear.
Now wait a second.
No.
If you put those together, it sounds a little weird.
The trick is you don't think about it. That's the trick. You don't think about it. It's like when Aaron comes over, you don't think he's not wearing any underwear right now. Then it makes it really weird.
You know, I'm just gonna say never think that. That's just not something you need to think about at all.
Shoot.